All right, hello. How is everyone doing? If there's anyone watching yet. I'm just kind of gonna do the same thing as the last stream, just working on contracts some more. They left things off. They kind of confused. Not really sure what I needed to work on, or like how to do what I was thinking of. Actually, I don't even know if I knew how to do what I was hoping to do, if that makes any sense. But I've kind of been working on contracts some more, here and there. And I think I have a better idea now. And I at least got something going right now that we can keep going on with. Hopefully the volume is all good, both with the music and with my microphone. But let me show you what I got going so far. Okay. Actually, I still think this is a little too loud. Might just be on my end. Okay, so as you can see already, there's quite a lot. So I actually figured out a way for this to recognize the blocks that were mine. I don't think I even got that far in the last stream. But now also when the player reaches the max amount of the resource they can put inside one of these pouches, it'll show that the little the green check mark, just to make it a little more obvious and still show what all is inside the pouch. And so now, this only works at the moment with cobblestone, so the any stone, and if you mine cobblestone, as well as coal. So now I just need to figure out what all the names are for the different tags, for all the other ores, and then actually apply them to those blocks. And then that part should be all set. So then afterwards, we need to change how we complete contracts, from checking the player's inventory to instead check the MBT tags inside the pouch. We still also have to invalidate pouches for contracts that are no longer in existence, because as you can see, I don't actually have a contract, but yet this will still take items, which we don't want that happening. And then of course we still have to do everything else that I mentioned in the last stream. Now, will we get to all that? Probably not, but hopefully we can make some decent progress. Now that I actually have something going, And it's not just me. I sit around just guessing on what we have to do and hoping for the best, because that was not working. Okay, so if we switch over to here, and actually I don't have this in full screen. There we go. Make this a little larger as well. So, okay. So now I have, actually I think all this is the same from before, except behind that check mark, and this, the if statement. But also I should mention, as you might have heard from that car going by, I do have my window open, so just in case if there's like too much background noise, I might close it, but for now I think it'll be fine. So if we go over to the blocks script, all this up here is still the same. Just kidding, that's not the thing that I added. Yeah, right here. All this is still the same. But I added this function to handle all the pouch stuff, or the things when like you break a block and it tries changing the tags and all that. So now it's a function that I would just use inside of each ore. So we have a player tag and a number tag, which those are just kind of carried over from this function that we also use. But then I also have a text, item, and number the fields. So the text is for the tags, as you can see here. This item is for giving the item directly to the player's inventory, and this quantity is also for that, and it's also for adding like that amount to the pouch. So then we use this function down here. So we still keep this if statement that we had before, but instead of all that stuff that we have up there, we just call this function and put in all of this. And so at least for this step, we just have to do this for all of the ores that we have. And so, like, sure, I could guess what all of these would be, based on what it says on the contract and all that. But I'd have to manually set my level for all this, try generating contracts to like see them all, like blah blah blah. It's just way too complicated than what it needs to be. So instead, to figure out what all of these are going to be, what I thought of doing is going over to this function here where we have all the ores, and as it's going through them, I figured, why don't we just send what it's figuring out here to the player? So this should just give them, or give me, the whole list of like different items that it checks for. So if we break this coal, actually that only sent those two. Oh, it's probably because I have it after this if statement here. Yep. So if we actually just take that out, and put it over here. Reload the script. Then we should see a whole list. Yep, there it is. So this is all the stuff that we need to keep track of for all the different ores. So they say we go over to iron ore. For this, it would just be iron nugget, just like that. And actually, I think all these seem pretty normal. But I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like anything like strange, because sometimes script can be that way. So if we go over to the block script and we go back down to iron ore here, we'll just grab this chunk of code here. And so instead of this part here, we would instead paste in the code that we had copied, change this out to iron nugget. This would also be iron nugget, both a space, and swap that out for iron nugget. And actually, I think, yep, I kept the same comments for cobblestone, because here they say to give the coal to the player. You just change it to item. Because I do want to keep the comments, but I also don't want to change it for every single the ore that we have. So actually, let's just copy that then. So iron ore should be all done now. So then if we go over to lapis, this one might be a little more tricky. And by tricky, I mean, we'll keep that there for now. And so, like same for the iron, we would just swap this out with lapis. I believe if I look over at Minecraft again, yep, it's just lapis. So then here, this would just be lapis as well. And then for this part here, and here, we would just do this instead. And we would also do this for redstone. Now, actually, something we should do instead, now that I think of it, is do like we should just change the fortune quantity, because if we just copy and paste this into both of these spots, those numbers might not necessarily be the same. Not that it matters a whole lot, but just so it makes sense to me, I'm just gonna do this, where we update the quantity to what it should actually be, and then we just keep it the same. I don't know why it likes to pull up this comments tab anytime I'd like to get rid of a line like that. Okay, so then lapis should be all done. And I think we would also have to go to the super blocks, because like those, they do also apply. But it would still be pretty straightforward, like the same kind of thing as this. So then over here, I think I have to grab this again, because I think I copied this. So this would be gold nugget. In the camel case, and then the gold space nugget and gold nugget. And then get rid of that line. Just because I'm that lazy, I'm just gonna copy all of this, paste it, and it's just, oh, this is redstone item. But I believe that can just be redstone. Yeah, so cars are probably gonna get picked up way more easily than normal, unfortunately. But if I don't want to be baked alive inside my room, I should probably keep that window open. Oh, I just put in diamond instead of emerald. And even though we haven't actually gone to like these ores, like in the actual game, might as well just add it. So this would be netherite scrap. So then we don't have to worry about stems because they're basically logs. All the planks are fine. But now we get to blocks. The ores, super blocks. And so basically the same kind of thing for super blocks as we do with like lapis and redstone, where probably just do, actually I wonder if this is a thing, multiply fortune quantity by 9. If that's a thing, that'd be really cool. All right, so then this would just be coal and coal. Then for this, and same for lapis, probably want to do this, if that would work. Yeah, and actually I'm probably gonna want to do this. All right, so I think that is all of it. So now if we switch back to Minecraft, okay, it did not like some of it. Variables cannot be used here. Oh, okay. And then it didn't like my way of multiplying. Which I kind of had a feeling it would do that. Okay. That is fine. So let's just go through all these spots that I changed. We got lapis here. So this, I think it was fine with. And I'll also do rounded. Should be sure to do that. Actually, oh yeah, that's fine. Okay. So for a second, I thought that I also did times 4 or 5 for quartz, but I did not. All right, let's try that again. All right, I still have to fix that. Okay. So I can't really test all that right now. However, what I can do so for now I'll just get rid of that. I'll put these over here, but just so that I have like all my the legit stuff. Like, not that it matters a whole lot, but I will want to come back to this to like play test it. But I want to go back to the contracts and get rid of this message, because like we don't need that this spammy chat now. So let me do this to get some new tools, and change up their other levels to say 50. As well as my level. And then do some enchantments on these. Actually, I'll just leave fortune alone. Then, yeah, this is all we need. And I forget if I even set a maximum for how high the efficiency can go. Nope, I don't think I did. So now if I go around to some of these trees here, yeah, it's insta break. It's a good thing no one else has access to those commands. Okay, so actually I didn't even need the axe. It's more about the pickaxe really. But now if I go to contracts and I start one up, we should get, okay, so we got gold nuggets, diamonds, emeralds. So let's go test all these out to make sure they're all fine and dandy. So we got the gold over here. Seems like they're all going into the resource pouch and not into my inventory. Say we add some fortune. And actually, to make it a little more dramatic, you can do something like 10, fortune 10. Imagine that. And see if it, okay, yep, seems to work as intended. And so we also just have diamonds and emeralds. So actually, let me just make sure that all this works correctly. So when it fills up, it adds that check mark. I don't think it should be any different from the cobblestone that I had. Yep, so it has that check mark now. But something that I haven't done yet is like having overflow once you reach the maximum, which is something I should probably do. It's just a small like detail, but I feel like it's still important. Okay, so that also works as intended, because like from that I probably should have gotten way more diamonds than however much it gave me from that block, which would have been less than 60, but with fortune 10 it probably should have been more. And then finally emeralds, it should be fine. So the cobblestone did that. Okay, that's interesting. That's not going into my inventory. The good thing I had to accidentally mine that cobblestone, because I didn't think about testing that. So like redstone, that's not being given to me. Let's see why that might be. But let's just kind of sit down and look at the logic that it goes through. So like say we're looking at like redstone, should be up here. So it's looking to see if the pouch exists. If it does, it only runs this function. Okay, so then we need to figure out what this function is saying. So when we do all of this, we grab the quantities of that specific tag, but in this case, for our pouch, this would just be null. Like it doesn't have these tags. So then it's going through this conditional. If pouch quantity is less than pouch max. And then it runs through this. Otherwise, it should just give the item. So based on that, it looks like it's attempting to run through this. Even though it shouldn't be. So, and I don't think I can do like ands inside of script if statements. I can try it anyway. So let's also check to see if that exists. And see if it is okay with that. No, it's not. Which I kind of had a feeling it wouldn't. So let's do if that doesn't exist, and then just do the same thing. Okay, so it's fine with that. Let's make sure that this is still running as intended, which it looks like it is. But then if I mine some okay, that's still not working properly. However, it might not be working properly because it might have actually created those tags with it doing it at least one time. So let's go ahead, cancel that. And also I should have paid attention to how much time we started with. It might have been like 20 minutes or something. The 5 seconds might be a little too generous, but I think by this point, like, you'd be avoiding that starter and multiplier. Like, once you have different options for the contract times and they pay out the multipliers. So let's get rid of that pouch and start up a new contract. So this actually gives us some more items to work with. So say we mine some cobble. Okay, that's still not working. But now that we have redstone, that's working as intended. But say we go to like lapis, which isn't on the contract, then yeah, we're not being given that. So even that isn't working. Let's see what it's going through. So we'll just give some little debug the messages. So it's actually not even doing like, all right, so that's fine. But say we go over to lapis. Yeah, it's not doing anything. I'm recovering all of the potential if statements. And these also, they say coal. But that doesn't really matter for now. Okay, well, is it even running this function? Just to make sure I'm not... Okay, yeah, we are working with a block script and we are reloading that. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, so it is running the function. But you know what could be happening is we might have to do this if statement before we attempt. Oh, okay, here we go. So that's why it's not running, because we're actually checking if it exists before we run all of this. Okay, that makes sense. So really what we want to do, is let's actually just try doing what we're doing here, and just get rid of that. Like, does that work just fine? Yeah, it seems like it. And if I go to lapis, yep, okay. So that seems to work just fine. Excellent. All right, so it looks like that is all working. Yeah, and I did mine a the diamond block here, and that seemed to work. So cool. Seems like updating the pouch works now. But something we might want to do is they have like an overflow kind of system, which I think that would be pretty straightforward to do. So we would just add some more stuff to that, the functions in the top of the block script. So if we go back here, we can get rid of all these messages. They don't need them anymore, since all that is working as intended. I'm just gonna change these to item. Okay. So I'm trying to think here. So we're adding the quantity here. And that's fine. So if we're greater than or equal to the pouch max, we want to know what the difference is. So what we could do for that is just do our updated pouch quantity minus the pouch maximum. And so then we set that, we send the message, but then we also do give player give quantity of item, and instead of doing Q, we would do our difference quantity of the item to the player. And that should take care of the overflow. So say we go over to diamonds, start mining them. We don't have any in our inventory, but let's just pay attention for when that message shows up. And so when that message sent, not only did it max out our pouch, but it also gave us the leftover amount that couldn't fit in here. So cool. That also works now. See how much stuff we're getting done? It's crazy. So much more than like the last stream. Okay. So all that is great and all, but it doesn't really matter when the contract doesn't even acknowledge what's in here. So that is going to be a little more challenging than what we've done so far, I think. This is going to require some thinking. Maybe. Probably. So this probably won't really deal with the block script so much. This is going to be more about the contract script. So we're going to be looking at here. When we're like checking to see if the player has all the items, if they do, we take it away from them, add it to the completed list, blah, blah, blah. This is what we're going to be changing. So I already kind of got started, not by much though, basically just copying what we have from the block script to find where the pouch is, because I think that's the first key step. Also completely unrelated, but we have 0 dropped frames. Wow, look at that. That's insane. But that's also kind of what I was hoping for last stream. I think you could hear my cat. This is Maggie. The mouthy Maggie. Okay, so hopefully I think she doesn't smack my microphone. Okay, so now that we have the pouch slot, we're gonna want to look into that item. So, just because I'm not 100% sure what I did, yeah, so we want to get the item then, so then we can look into its tags. So we can just like do this. So all this is fine at the moment. Okay, so it looks like I hold on to these as like items. So we're gonna have to separate the quantity and the actual item type from that like set of items, if that makes sense. Yeah, so we're already figuring out the item amount here, so that's fine. But then I think I can do type of, then the item, or something like that. So all this is fine because that's how we're structuring the messages that we send here. But what we want to look at is this part here. Like when we're removing the items from the player, which isn't what we want to do anymore. So I'll just comment this out for now. And up here is where we're going to be adding quite a few lines, I think. So we're looping through all the required items. So we need to figure out the quantity. So maybe something like that. And something like required resource, or the item works. So for the required quantity, we can just grab what we have here. So item amounts of _i. But then for required item, let's try doing type of I. See if that works. But we're gonna do a little more than just that, because then we'll do replace. Let's see. I just want to make sure I'm doing this right. So replace all space in the variable with just nothing. So we want to replace all spaces in our required item string to nothing. And then finally, we want to set it to itself, but in camel case. So then that should give us the like the name that we need for the tags. And just to make sure, because I doubt this will run correctly the first time, might as well just send a little debug message when it's checking that, or when it's doing all of this. Okay, so now that it knows the item and quantity, we want to grab the tags. So I'll just do a little bit of let's see here. I'll just do a little bit of this. And a little bit of that. and change that a little. So then we're grabbing the current pouch quantity and the max. And I should probably just add some comments here. So then we want to check if these two equal each other. And if so, and actually, you can just do this. Because otherwise, oh, but if that fails, then oh, this is checking if the player has that quantity. So really, we're gonna want to have all of this in here. And so then this conditional would be here. And before I replace that, I should probably fix this because _I isn't correct. Or wait, is it? Oh yeah, it is. If I set it up here. Okay, they never mind. Okay, so then if that is equal to each other, then we're able to set actually, we don't have to mess with the tags at all. All we would have to do is just add it to the completed list. And then it doesn't have to check it again. So another thing that would be nice, or that will be nice, is like, they say you're in the middle of a contract and like you don't get everything done, but you had some of the steps done, you'll still be able to get all of your items back. That is like once we implement that. Like, so like if you, because like before, which is also before there was a time limit, like you could turn in your stuff early, which is fine when there isn't a time limit, but when there is and it immediately deletes your contract once the time is up, that would suck if you tried to like turn things in a little early, but then oh, like you don't finish it all and then all those items are gone. That won't be the case for this. So we don't have to worry about changing these tags at all. Those are all fine. We're just adding it to the completed list and then all that is good. So actually, this might be all good, other than needing to remove the pouch once everything is good. So then we're completing all this. So then this line here, we can just do, let's see, what would be the best way of removing it? I guess we could just do remove underscore pouch from player's inventory. The odds of it being the exact same as another pouch, which you shouldn't even have two in the first place, that once we implement everything, but that should work. So if we reload contracts, let's make sure, okay, we have one error. Okay, it didn't like this for some reason. Is my wording off a little? Oh, did I say two instead of with? Yep. I bet you that was the reason why. Yep, okay. So is our contract still going? It is. It still has 2 minutes. I bet you with Fortune 10 we can complete that. Actually. There we go. Fortune 20 now. Wait, that didn't complete it? Okay, it's still adding them. Okay, now we reached it. Now redstone. Let's do some mining here. That's all good now. And now iron. Okay, all these are good now. So then if we do this and we try to complete it. Okay. That should have worked. Oh, okay. So the diamond and emeralds were fine, but it just showed none for some reason. But then the iron nugget and redstone IM didn't work, probably because they weren't converted to camel case. It's a good thing I had to already put in those debug messages. That truck was really loud. I apologize for that. Even though that is not in my control whatsoever. And our contract ran out. Excellent. I think something else I might want to do is even if this is true, I think I still want to send this message and like add it to the fulfilled thing. change that wording a little. But for now, let's figure out why this isn't working. Maybe try doing this. Then we also gotta figure out why this just sent none. Because all of that should still exist. Oh, wait, what is this? Why is it underscore P? I wonder if that got changed from me doing Control F and through replacing a bunch of stuff. That's probably why. Okay. So that should be all good. So let's go ahead, throw out all these items. Let's start up a new contract. Uh-oh. Oh wait, no, that gave me the item. There for a second I thought I didn't get the pouch. So how much time were we given? Oh wow. 40 minutes, basically. That feels like that's a little too long. But this is also just for 5 seconds, which is supposed to be like pretty easy. Like you shouldn't have to worry too much about getting it done. So just go around completing some of these. And actually, I won't go through them all right now. Let's try just checking these off. So lapis and coal should not count, but redstone, diamond, and emerald, they should all count. The only one that's questionable is if redstone will work now. Which it looks like it didn't, because it still does not have the uppercase I in item. Camel case, like changing the casing for strings just seems so weird in this for some reason, because I guarantee you if I do in camel case here, and actually I did not copy that. And then over here, I put an in camel case. I have a feeling that'll work. So the issue I was talking about before, so now if I attempt to complete this, it's still gonna do nothing because it's still not adding the uppercase for I. But then like it's they're showing all of that, but it should still show the following have been completed because it's not like we're turning them in. You just still know what things have been completed, what still needs to be done. This is being stubborn. I don't think camel case is gonna work if I try doing it here. I don't know if I tried the percentage and quotation marks yet, but let's try doing that in camel case. See if that works. Nope. Give me 1 second. Okay, let's try to figure this out. I don't think this will really change anything, but what if we just throw in parentheses? Yeah, oh, okay. Oh, that worked. Huh. Okay. So now let's... Actually, before I complete it, since we still have, gee, how much time? 30 minutes. Let's make it so that it includes all the other things we've checked off. Because it should just show, like, what things have been checked off here. Basically just another place to check on it. So instead of just having it skip everything up here, I think what we're going to do is have it so that we bring it down to basically we would just be repeating all of this if we had another if statement like up here and then else if here. So we can just do this. I think. So now if we complete it, yep, it shows all the other items now. But then if we go and finish, say, lapis, so we go over here, check this off. Now it's in here. But then if we do it a second time, it's still showing that same thing. If we do it again, it's not like it's showing duplicate amounts of this. Because like that's what we're blocking off by checking to see if it's already there. Because if it's already there, we don't need to add like the item again to the list of completed stuff. And so then, just to make sure that we can then complete a contract, let's finish up the coal task. Okay. So now all those things are checked off. And so now if we go here, it completes a contract for us. Excellent. So then, yep. The contract is all gone, took our pouch away, and all of that is working as intended. Awesome. So now, I guess the next thing we should do is make it so that the pouches can be invalidated. So they can't be added to anymore. They won't be taken by other contracts. They stuff like that. And so for that, we're probably gonna want to, let's see here. Basically, the way for us to avoid that, so what I'm thinking of doing is having it so that they say we start up a contract. 2 lines underneath the current last line, so we would just say like expired pouch or something. So then we would want to check for that line. So we would want to check to see if the last line contains that text, and if it does, we ignore it and try to find a different pouch. So inside of our add items to pouch, or no, not there. Over in here, we want to check the name, but then we also want to check, so let's set like a temporary variable, set last line to amount of lore of loop value of players inventory. I think that's what we would do. So then underscore last line doesn't contain, in all caps, expired pouch. And actually, this would just be the number. So if last line of lore of loop value of player's inventory, I could just make a temporary variable for this. And actually, I would have to include slots for loop value. And so if it doesn't contain that, then it would, if I set the pouch, the whatever. But now we need to actually add that line. So before I do that, let me just make sure that this is working. Okay, didn't throw any errors, so the syntax should be right. But what we're gonna want to do, so we have this clear contract function now. So any possible way for the contract to disappear, we run this function. So inside this function, we can also have it so that we find where the pouch is, like the current active pouch. So if we do a little bit of copying and pasting, and so this is the UUID of the player. So I think we can do set p to underscore t parsed as player. And then replace player with underscore p. So then with this, we can grab or set set line underscore last line +2 of lore of slot loop value of P's inventory. Yeah, this is ridiculous. Or actually, it's fine because we eventually get the slot. So and then we would set this to in bold red expired pouch. So let's try reloading that. Okay. So we have this pouch. But say we cancel the contract. It added the expired pouch. So now, if we start up another contract, so we have this one, but then we also have this one. And the first one we have is invalid. It's been expired. But this one should be valid. So nothing should be added to this pouch because it should ignore it when it's finding the pouch to check for and add to. And it should go over to this one. So we got the redstone, diamonds, and emeralds. So say we go over to redstone. Actually, no, let's go to diamonds because both of these have diamonds. So it adds it to this one and does not go to here, which is good. And like it's still doing that. Say we swap the positions of them just to make sure the order doesn't affect them. That's still increasing. Good. But something I didn't think of. Let's see. And also I just want to check the time on this. Okay. We got about 17 minutes on that. And like this is with a Fortune 20. I'd have to do some play testing with it. Like to make sure like these times are all good. Like they should be because it's like giving 5 seconds for each block. But then we'll have 3 and then probably 2. It's probably the most fair way of doing it. But just because I think 1 second per block would probably be too ridiculous. That'd probably be like basically impossible. So sure that we're having it check for a valid pouch here, but I think we need to do this now over at over where we're attempting to complete a contract. Yeah. So we just have to change nothing. I think all that's all good. Okay. So we reload that. Also, that took 2 seconds. Wow, that takes a lot longer than it did. Huh. Honestly, I don't think it's that big of a deal, but it's a little surprising. Because I think, yeah, we go back here and it's like around 360 milliseconds. And now we're looking at like over 2 seconds. That's odd. Then why is it like that? Is it because of like what we're doing here? I don't know. It's odd though. But anyway, yeah, so now that we've reloaded that, let's check to see. Okay, so it's looking for redstone, diamond, emerald, which is a part of the actual contract. Those are giving the same things. And say we complete diamonds in our actual contract, or sorry, pouch. Okay, that's good. So then say we swap the positions and we try completing emerald. That also worked. Cool. So it now completely disregards any expired pouches. And like, I could test to see if like time runs out and if it's able to do that, but considering how it uses the same function, I shouldn't really have to check for that. It should be fine. And if it wasn't, like if it doesn't work, then I'd be really surprised because it literally uses the same function and the player would still be online, because like the time only goes down when the player's on. Okay, so we got that down and still have a decent amount of time for tonight. So now let's make it so that any pouches that are still valid, they should not be able to go into the trash can. That'd be pretty bad. I think you would be screwing up your the contract quite a lot by doing that. But for expired pouches, like say there are a ton of items in it and like you just don't have the inventory space, or like you don't want those items, it'd be really stupid to make it so that you have to take them out of the pouch, so then it gets deleted and then you throw out the items. That's just way too many steps. So they say the player just wants to get rid of them all. They should just be able to get rid of the pouch. So we'll probably do something similar to what we just did here by checking for the last line to see if it says expired pouch. And so for this, I don't know if I actually made any changes to tools. I'm just making sure that I'm keeping all the tabs open for stuff I've changed. Therefore, when I make these changes over on the actual Minehut server. But honestly, the best thing for me would probably just be to copy and paste all the scripts over, just to make sure I don't miss anything. But so far, I think it's mainly just been contracts, blocks, and Mongo. I'm not so sure about tools. But for this, we're gonna want to go to, I think, miscellaneous. No, this doesn't have the command for the junk. I'm trying to think of what script might have that. Probably Essentials Lite. Yep. So then we're checking here for any items that we want to ignore. So then we're going to want to have another if statement. Actually, we don't need to do that. We can just do that. So now if I go to trash and I try getting rid of this, it won't let me. But this one, it'll to move around just fine. But this, it won't. But then I can move it freely if I don't have the trash, the GUI open. And then same kind of thing for deliveries, except we just don't want them in deliveries at all. And actually that's fine because I think I have it as a whitelist for items instead of a blacklist, like I do for the trash. And also I think I might have seen it inside the, okay, yeah, I can't get rid of the the island teleporter. Okay, so that's also checked off. So then one of the more gross things we'll have to do with the pouch is adding or like giving items back to the player. Because we'll need to figure out what item we're giving them based on the tag. And then we would have to check to see if the player has enough space for the item, and if they do, we then give it to them. I think the most complicated thing will be figuring out what item to give them, because we're storing all the items as these condensed camel case tag names, which is fine for items like diamonds and emeralds, but for redstone it's gonna be a little odd because it's typed out as redstone item like that. And it's probably not going to recognize what this means exactly if we just tried giving it that for like what item to give. So for that, I could just have a bunch of if statements saying like, oh, well, if the string is this, then this actually means that. But I hate doing that. It's a simpler way of doing things, but I'd rather make it more like automated, the more intelligent, if you will, with figuring out what items to give. So if I want to do it that way, then I'd probably have to grab that long list of items that we have over in contracts. Where is it? This list here. So we'd probably have to copy this, convert it over to the camel case thing that we have, and then compare it, like the strings, and then like do it that way. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do it that way. So we'll copy this. Then I want to make sure that I don't already have an on right click event in here. No, we don't. Okay. So we're gonna add, oh, that's inside of a function. So we're gonna add at the bottom here on right click. Name of item contains resource pouch. I'm gonna do that. But then we can go back to this. Because we only want to do this for pouches that have been expired. So we grab the last line of the item. And so we want to see if it does contain that. If so, like, then we can go through doing all of this. So we could probably copy and paste all that stuff. And so if that exists, we want to grab the quantity that it has. And we already know what kind of item to give because we have this list and we're looping through that. Sounds like our contract just expired. So now they should both be expired. Yep. Cool. So now we have the quantity and we have the item. So now we need to check if the player, so I know I have this line somewhere. Just want to make sure I do this correctly, because I think the wording is a little odd, if I'm remembering correctly. I think it's something like player's inventory has enough space for... Why is my... Okay. For some reason, my F key did not want to press down. So if player's inventory has enough space for quantity of loop value, if so, we want to give quantity of loop value to player. Then also add so we're going to want to update the MBT data of the pouch. Actually, we should probably do this. So then we can have an else statement. Because we should probably let the player know if anything was taken out of the pouch and if there wasn't enough space to remove an item from the pouch. Okay. So then if there's nothing in the pouch, then we just want to get rid of it. So we should probably have a little boolean. So we can do like set empty to true, but then if we're removing something, and before we do these if statements, we should probably also check to see if quantity is not 0. So if it's not 0, then we know that there's still stuff inside of it. But if we're removing it, then we're not too sure. But if there wasn't enough space to get rid of it, then we can set empty to false, because then we know that there's still stuff inside the pouch and we shouldn't get rid of it. So then after we go through all the ores, all the potential ores, we then want to check to see if empty is true. If so, we then remove item from player. So let's reload contracts. Still taking a solid 2 seconds now. Very nice. Not really. So for this one, there's nothing in here. So we should be able to right click this and it disappears. For this one, we have stuff inside of it. And so let's say our inventory is completely full. There's no possible way for it to give us all these items. It could give us a little because we have some slots with diamonds and emeralds, but it won't be able to give us all of it, and that's what matters. So if we attempt to right click, it tells us that there was not enough space to remove diamonds and emeralds from the pouch. And then I think, okay, even if we attempt to place a chest, it'll still do that. That's something I wasn't sure about. But then if we have enough space, it should then give us all of those items. Actually, before I do that, what if I just give it like 1 extra slot? I get rid of the emeralds I have in here, and I do that. So then it should only give me the diamonds and none of the emeralds. So it told me that it removed all the diamonds. We check. Okay. After I remove it, I need to make sure that we update the lore. And actually, did it even update the MPT data? Because it looks like it's still trying to get rid of diamonds. Oh, in camel case. That'd be why. All right, and then we also need to run that update pouch lore. All right, this might be a little annoying because I don't want to loop through all the slots just to find the item that we're already aware of in this event. Alright, might have found something. So it gave the diamonds. Did not update the lore though. And it didn't clear the MBT data because it just gave the diamonds again. Hmm. This is so odd. I'm gonna try saying a temporary variable that we look at, update, and then at the end we update the item. I don't know if that would change anything, because I almost wonder if you have to work in a temporary variable when dealing with MBT stuff. Nope, still not doing it. that was the issue. Because, you know, I started to wonder, like, I wonder if it would let me modify just item. So if I use player's tool, which isn't based on the trigger that we're going off of, then it actually applies updates, because now we got our diamonds, it's showing 0, which means the MBT tag updated so it could show 0, which also means that it's updating the lore, so that's all good too. So now if I open up more space for me to grab the emeralds, remove the emeralds, set it to 0, but it didn't take it away. But if I click it again, it goes away. Okay. Almost there. So it was set to true. So when it did that, it said that it removed all the emeralds from the pouch. But then somehow it did not remove the item from the player. During that event. Let's try freaking player's tool again. So we'll start up another contract. And I'm not going to get into doing different kinds of contracts or like having the time options in this stream. I might just do that off stream or in another one. Probably off stream, so I can get this update out sooner. So, okay, we have 11 emeralds. If I right click this, it does nothing, which is good. But then say I cancel the contract, don't want to work on it anymore. I want my items back. I have 4 here. So if I right click, okay, there we go. Again, player's tool. Good lord. So we got the emeralds and then it got rid of it. Cool. Excellent. That is awesome. Technically this would be possible, but I don't think this would be something many players would encounter. But for like lapis and redstone, technically there could be a point when you're not able to claim all the items from the pouch. Technically there would be a point, same for all the ores, but you would definitely hit this for lapis and redstone first, that there would simply not be enough space in your inventory regardless if you only had your essential items, or that even if you, yeah, you know what I mean. So that's a slight issue, but I don't think that'd be something players would encounter with this. Which, that kind of reminds me, I want to remove the maximum count that you could possibly get. And I might have done that already now that I think about it, because I did set a hard limit for how many items you could have, but I might have done that off stream, or actually on stream, to getting rid of that maximum quantity. This would be when we're making the contract here. Yeah, I think there was a maximum here that I got rid of. Okay. All right, excellent. I think this is actually functioning as intended now. So let's do like a legitimate playthrough of this. So get rid of all these items here. Even, oh, I don't think I can get rid of these. I think even if I go into creative, yeah. I guess it'll just stay in my inventory. It's not like it really matters because this is on the dev server. But then if I go back to 19, bring back all my items to my hotbar, and let's try starting up a contract. So we have cobblestone blocks and coal. So we need 79 cobblestone, which is stack 15. And so we have about 11 and so minutes, or of the 11 minutes and however many seconds to complete this. So we just use some mining here, break some cobblestone. This is ready to level up, but we're not at 20 yet. So eventually we should get that message saying that we got the maximum amount of cobblestone. There it is. Got the check mark. So then we have coal. I forget, does this have fortune? No, this is just unbreaking. So I have like the worst possible set of enchants you could have at this point. Nothing to speed up how many ores I'm getting. So this is like worst case scenario. Okay, I can level up. I mean, why not? Try to speed up the... Oh, nope, just kidding. I got unbreaking again. Wait. Aw. For some reason, it says I have efficiency as well. Is that an actual issue where if you don't have another like level of efficiency, it keeps that? Because it's not like it shows efficiency 1, which is what it would normally show. Huh. I thought I fixed that. Apparently not. Because like I know why that could be there, and because I do give like a hidden efficiency level to wooden pickaxes, but I thought that should have been fixed. Okay, so both of them are completed. We still have 7 minutes remaining, and we pretty much just focused on mining that whole time. So we're able to complete it. It did not get rid of the pouch, it just expired it. Okay. It's probably because yeah, that's a problem, because then we're able to take those items out, which we shouldn't be able to do. That's probably because we're adding that invalid line to it before attempting to remove it, if I had to guess. So here's where we're trying to complete it. So we run clear contract here, and then we're trying to remove the pouch from the player's inventory. And because that no longer exists technically, because we added that line, that's why it doesn't remove it. So would that be a problem if we bumped it up? Not really, because it wouldn't find something to invalidate. So yeah, let's just swap that out. Okay. So then, just for the sake of time, okay, so we got all that, and then we need iron and coal. Okay. So then we complete this, and now it gets rid of the item. Okay. And then we can also get rid of those debug messages, wherever those are. Right there. All right. Well, I think that's where I'm gonna leave things off. That was a really good stream. I don't think anyone was here watching. If so, I didn't really hear from anyone. But in terms of progress made on this development stream, we actually made a lot of progress. Crossed off a lot of things on the list like to do for this contract rework, which is awesome. So I don't know when I'll stream again. I don't know if they do that for when I'm finishing up this contract rework or for something else. But hopefully I can get this other rework out in the next couple of days. I think at this point it's just a matter of in the contracts the menu, so when you click to search, it would give you the 3 different options, probably in the same hopper kind of inventory, or maybe like a 1 slot inventory. Just showing the 3 options, like that you have 5 seconds, or I might even bring it down to 4 like seconds per block for this payout, then like this one, and then like the 3rd one, and then whichever you click on, it would set the appropriate time and the multiplier. It'd probably keep the same items. I don't really see a reason to generate 3 different lists just for the sake of changing how much time you would have and the payout. It's just a bunch of extra work for the server that isn't really necessary. And then just having it so that if the player were to close out the inventory for any reason, that it would just set it to the default the option, like the one you wouldn't have to pay a direct fee for, or like some other way of adding a risk factor for the other options. Then I think the rework will be all set then, which is really nice. There'll be a pretty significant update to the server in about a year. But like, to those of you that were watching, thank you for coming to the stream, checking it out. This is actually a lot less chaotic than the last stream, which I'm really thankful of. Actually got stuff done. It feels like it was really productive. But anyways, I'm gonna head out. I will talk to you all later.